AI, in my opinion, is one of those really, I think, generatively transformational technology that's out here. Now, with AI coming in, I think automation is no longer a nice to have, right? It is really, really important. It is mission critical, in fact, right? Because if you don't have this, you're not going to take advantage of AI and you're going to be left behind in the AI revolution, right? So I think it gives a new sense of urgency for customers to start looking at automation. And I think, that's where I think you need to have a good automation platform that has a high available architecture, got a secure automation supply chain.
Welcome to another edition of Cloud Unfiltered. I'm your host, Michael Chenetz, and today we have Sathish from Red Hat. Why don't you say a few words about yourself?
Absolutely, Michael. Thank you for having me. Sathish Balakrishnan, I lead the Ansible Automation Platform business at Red Hat. I've been at Red Hat 10 years and done a whole lot of other things around OpenShift, Kubernetes, cloud services, and started leading the automation business this year.
That sounds very exciting. I mean, it's one of the areas that's near and dear to my heart. I love automation. As a matter of fact, if I could automate everything in my life, I would. So, it's a great topic for me. So we had you on because you wanted to talk about some things around AI and really where AI is going and how it intersects with automation. So I'd love to hear a little bit about what you guys are doing, and then where you think where you think everybody's going with this.
Absolutely, Michael. Right. So I think the thing that everybody gets excited is AI. But I think what people forget is, and I think it's actually good that a lot of articles are coming out in both the press and the analyst about the importance of automation and AI together, right? If you look at it, right, AI is a really good progression from automation, right? Or AI is in some ways machines doing automation by themselves, right? That's basically what AI is. So I think what we can do, maybe Michael, is we can talk about the evolution of automation itself, right? Because I think automation is one of those things that everybody takes for granted, but nobody pays attention to or focuses, right? So I've been leading this business, as I said, for the past a few months now, and I'm new to the automation business in some ways, right? And I know automation permeates all our lives, right? Everyday lives, everything we do is around automation, right?
Sure.
We look at our phone and it unlocks automatically, right? We don't need to enter a PIN anymore, right? That's automation. But I think one of the things I've noticed coming new to this space is people talk about automation a lot and they understand the value of automation, but automation is not something that is pervasive or present across enterprises that we are talking to, right? There are some pockets of excellence where automation happens, but it is not very permissive, right? And I've been always thinking about why is that, right? Because everybody thinks other people should do automation, right? But they themselves don't have to do automation. And unless a company has a very strategic bent and intent to automate everything, they have an edict to go do things. Automation doesn't seem to take on. We have some amazing customers that have spoken about how they're using automation at scale, right? Like JP Morgan Chase and others that have basically do 10,000 auto heals in a month. And who would not want to do that? But it takes effort to get that. So first thing I notice is automation is something that everybody's interested in, but nobody's focused on or nobody has a strategic intent on. The second thing I think is very important for us, right, as we talk about AI soon, is how has automation evolved, right? Because what is automation like 20 years back, right? It was just writing scripts.
Mm-hmm.
We had to write scripts, right? Even now, I think if you go to a Python 101, they talk to you about how to automate things with Python, right? But automation has come a long way since that, right? Because now that's, I think, the first wave of automation is all the scripting. But then what we've done with automation is, we've tried to make it more accessible to other people that are not programmers, right? People that don't know how to write it, so we made it easy with different things. You guys have done different technologies in different companies. You've interviewed a bunch of others that are doing automation as well, right? What we've done at Red Hat is we've basically introduced Ansible, which basically is a YAML style way to write automation, which abstracts all the Python code so anybody can automate it because networkers need automation, edge people need automation, security folks need automation, right? So we've done that. And then we made it accessible, we made it shareable. Once you create an automation abstract called a playbook, you can share it across the enterprise. So you can do that. That's very easy, right? And then, what we've done is we put a lot of integrations with ISVs to make sure that, how to work with their devices, work with their software very easy as well, right? So that's another thing that we made it. We made it consumable, right? And then we put a lot more innovation actually in automation, right? We have things like event-driven automation, which basically allows you to take action on things that are coming from your observability platform so that you can use automation effectively and automatically, right? You can take action with reducing mean time to resolution, solving problems before they happen, all of those things. So all of these things are great, right? The reason I say this is, automation has to be strategic. Automation is mission critical. It's no longer a nice to have, especially if you want to take advantage of AI, right? So AI is not a fix for, cannot fix broken or manual processes. AI is not a solution for technical debt, right? It's not magically going to fix all these things. You need to have some kind of a foundation in order to leverage AI for all of these things, right? And even if you look at the things that automation can do for AI, right? You are getting insights from AI now. You want to take effect of those. You want your applications to take the AI inferences and use them immediately. You can wait for 6 months for that AI inference to be used by your application. So you need automation to get those insights into your application, into your business logic automatically, right? So there's a lot of automation needed to leverage AI, and that's why I think I'm super excited to talk about this topic.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just going back to a couple things that you said there is that, a lot of companies really haven't automated. And it's funny because if you look at a lot of the DevOps reports, there's a lot of intent to implement DevOps practices, but there's also a great amount of people that either haven't implemented it effectively or are still doing a lot of things manually. So, I see that all over the industry, and it's depending on what you're doing and how big you are and how fast you want to iterate on software and all those different things that come into play really, really, make a difference there. And the other thing I would say is that, we've been on this path to automate for a long, long time, and it's getting better and better and better. And I think people are figuring out that, yeah, if you do it right, it could help a lot. But the problem is that you need a lot of people and a lot of work to do that. And that's where I think AI is really going to help out a lot, is that it can figure out certain key elements for you. But as you said, you need a good infrastructure because your data is only as good, or your AI is only as good as your data. And so you have to get that right first. You have to know what data you're looking at, make sure that data is right. And then understand AI is like the benefit on top of that,
Well, 100%, Michael. No, I think very, very well said, right? So I think it's not just the data, right? It's all the other processes that you have in your organization. The data is the last leg of it. But if you don't have all the automation for every system to talk to each other, you're not going to get the data, right? Because they're all silos now, right? And how is AI going to link all of this data together? And then how is AI going to effectively execute commands if there's no automation, right? Unless every one of us has a Neuralink chip embedded in us, right? If you're doing something manually and I'm doing something manually, it's great. We can feed the data to AI. AI is going to be like, I got to make Michael 20% efficient and Sathish 50% efficient, but it can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because now that you mention it, one of the bigger problems that organizations face is the fact that data is siloed and processes are siloed and software is siloed. in many different departments. So, I might have somebody that's building one thing and they decide to use Jenkins and decide to use, whatever it may be. And then I might have another team that's building something else and they may decide to do something. And then I might have a network team that's wants to automate and they might decide to use something else. And all those repositories are different. And all these things have to be analyzed, and then the data has to be processed to be in the right format. And then, so this is a pretty complex beast when you think about it.
Yeah, 100%. Right. I think that's why I always start with, right, you need to have a good automation platform, right? Because you need to have as I said, the strategic intent to automate. Because so far, I think we've been thinking of automation as a nice to have, right? Everybody knows, we need to automate. What do we need to automate? Got to save costs. It's consistent. It provides reliability. It's operational efficiency. It helps me with scalability. It helps me with faster time to market. I can spend my time on innovating things. It gives me my competitive edge. We all know the benefits. And these benefits, if you can't buy them, if you bought them and you digested this competitive benefit that I just said, you'd have automated it. But guess what? Life happened, and we got so busy that we forgot to automate. Right? So, but given how AI, in my opinion, is one of those really, I think, generatively transformational technology that's out here. Now, with AI coming in, I think automation is no longer a nice to have, right? It is really, really important. It is mission critical, in fact, right? Because if you don't have this, you're not going to take advantage of AI and you're going to be left behind in the AI revolution, right? So I think it gives a new sense of urgency for customers to start looking at automation. And I think, that's where I think you need to have a good automation platform that has a high available architecture, got a secure automation supply chain, large ecosystem of integration, so that you can actually now rely on it to exactly break down the silos that you spoke about. Because you're right? If they don't pick the right automation platform or an automation tool, right, you're going to have silos of excellence in different places. You're not going to be able to have automation standardized across the enterprise, and that starts creating more friction into your AI solution, because you've got automation, but you create different types of friction versus having no automation, right? And that's why it's very important to pick a tool that can do all of these things.
So I haven't looked at it in a little while, but it used to be that there was like Ansible Tower was the platform for everything. And is that where, if you envisioned it, or maybe you're already doing this, is that where the AI engine would live? Is in that kind of central place?
No, we've moved from Ansible Tower to Ansible Automation Platform.
Okay. So I see. I have to look at it more.
Absolutely. It's good. It's good that we're talking about it. Now I gotta do a primer for you on Ansible, but we'll do it next show. Okay.
Absolutely.
But I think, I think so. There are many ways to do it. I look at automation as one of the foundation, right? Because now you have all the processes automated, so you can now apply. So think about it this way, right? If you have so we have something called event-driven Ansible, event-driven automation, right? So what it does is it allows you to automatically connect to different services like your ServiceNow, to your Dynatrace, to your Splunk, all of these things, so that you can get insights and you can log the insights. You can get approval if you need from ServiceNow to take an action. But what it does is it basically allows you to take action automatically. If the server is down, then restart the server, right, automatically. If it happens at 3 in the morning, I don't need the SRE to be looking at it. It can happen automatically, right? But it'll log into your ITSM solution so that it knows that that's happened. This did happen, right? So that's very important. That's the foundation that we're talking about. Now, when you start embedding and overlaying AI on top of that, right, there are multiple ways in which we can use AI, right? The first one is all these vendors, right? Guess who's not using AI these days? Nobody.
Yeah.
Everybody has AI in the solution, and some of them are really good, some of them are promising, right? And so you're now first, but because you've connected everything, you can now take advantage of your ITSM's AI, you can take advantage of your observability platform's AI first thing. And now you can make them actionable, right? Because you have all of this connected. That's the first AI layer we are talking about. Okay. The second AI layer is now you have connected all these systems. You can run AI through the data that is being generated by all the system. And guess what? Right? Every 3 weeks, a server starts rebooting itself. AI is going to now figure out, hey, this is happening. AI is going to be like, this machine has either this hardware problem or this needs a patch on the operating system or whatever, right? And until it's ready, AI can now predict that this machine is going to restart. It's disruptive to traffic at 90% memory, for example. If memory is the problem, I'm going to bleed traffic off this system, reboot it, and then bring it back into service automatically. How is this going to happen if you don't have automation? If your data cannot talk to your load balancer, cannot talk to your application, cannot talk to your networks, cannot talk to your ITSM, how is this going to happen? Even if it happened, you won't know it happened, and that's very scary, right? So that's why I think that's a second layer of AI that you can use. The third level of AI is given what I'm telling you, which is really really important, is foundational shift for companies. Everybody's going to be like, I want to do automation, but I don't have the skills to do automation. So this is where Red Hat has now invested in AI technology, where we are actually allowing people that don't know how to use Ansible, how to write playbooks, to actually use natural language processing, natural language queries, to start writing playbooks. Right? That's the third layer of AI that we're bringing into the equation here. And this has been GA since last October, and we have a lot of enterprises successfully using it and expanding the domains that they've been using automation in.
Yeah, it's really become an enabler because, somebody who doesn't understand that really, really quite easily can create these solutions now, and a lot of people have done that very successfully, including yourselves. And I think that it's amazing to see that because there is a limited amount of people that can really go in and create like an Ansible playbook from scratch or any of the other solutions out there. And it's nice to be able to enable that and to make it so that it's more cost effective for people that don't have to hire people that are highly skilled in this. So I think it's an amazing transformative aspect of what's going on right now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The other transformative thing, right, that automation brings in, and we didn't even speak about it. Everybody talks about skill gaps, right? I don't have enough skills in my organization to do things. We just spoke about this. We don't have enough Ansible skills or enough automation skills or whatever skills, AI skills, for example.
Yeah.
Right? This is where I think automation is fantastic because let's look at your organization. You have one engineer that understands your network really really well, right? The guy knows how to configure a network for every application. If you can capture his knowledge in an Ansible playbook, you can roll it out into your entire organization. Every single application that's being created can use that playbook and make sure it's compliant, it's in conformance with the network rules of the company. So now you're solving for the skills gap because you got the knowledge of this person encapsulated in a playbook that you can roll to the entire enterprise. And that's actually fantastic, right? Leave alone the benefits of AI, it comes up. Just this benefits would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think of, when I was a network engineer or a systems engineer, and I used to have to go to places like SunGuard and do disaster recovery, and like 99% of the time it wouldn't work until 15 times in that you've actually gotten everything, and then you would change one thing, and then you would have to redo all this, and it was a manual playbook. Like, it wasn't automated, it was manual. I'm going to write down exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through these steps and test to see whether it's going to work in a disaster. Now, I can tell you, I unfortunately, and had the ability. I was one of the 3 first people on site during 9/11. So I actually had to do disaster recovery in a real sense. And I can tell you that no matter, if you were going to do those things manually, no matter what, you cannot predict what's going to happen. So you're always better off automating it, because automation doesn't fail. As long as you have the resources, as long as things are the same, your automation is going to work. So I wholeheartedly believe in automation.
No, 100%. Right? I think we speak the same language. And I for one, before I took this role, I took automation for granted as well, right? So I played guilty to that. But now I know what is happening. And with impending AI revolution, I don't think we have a choice to be any more not serious about automation. I think the time for automation has come. If you think the time for AI has come, then without automation, you are not set up for success. You're going to be left behind. Right? It's not fear mongering; it is the truth.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when I was using Ansible, and it's been a while since I've really had hands on, but it was more about DevOps and operation and NetOps and all kinds of ops practices. But now it seems like it's more into a full fledged automation that you could use for any process, any kind of thing that you want to connect or interact with. So it's kind of morphed in its intent.
Yeah, I think we built a platform, right? That's why we moved from Ansible as a automation tool to Ansible Tower, which has a little bit more capabilities, to a full-fledged platform, right? Which has a highly available architecture that has things that like automation mesh, which allows you to add execution nodes which are closer to where the automation is happening, to or clustering, so that if one part of your infrastructure goes away, it's still highly available, to event-driven Ansible, which is allows you to auto heal your own infrastructure based on information you're getting, right? And the content has become really, really richer, right, with secure supply automation and all of that. And now we have a larger set of integrations we have with partners, so you're taking advantage of all the AI that all the partners are doing, right? And then of course, right, we ourselves have AI to help you drive automation and get faster at automation, so that you can actually take advantage of not only automation but also AI, right?
So, with all this automation, have you seen anybody doing things that you didn't expect using your automation engine, maybe connecting things together, maybe doing some kind of, I don't know if you have, but because you've only been on this, for a little bit here, but I'm curious if you've seen anybody do anything really creative or interesting or a little bit unexpected.
I would say lot of great things are happening, right? I think that for example, I think let's talk about the things that it's being used for, right? Like mass migration, right? I think we have a situation in the industry where a large virtualization company is being disrupted, right? And a
Yep.
lot of people are looking to solutions, figure out how to get out of the predicament that they are in, right? And then they look to use automation in conjunction with Kubernetes, which you're familiar with, to figure out how they can actually do cloud native virtualization with things like OpenShift virtualization, right? So, because what can automation do? Automation can do mass migration
Yeah.
very easily. It can pick and drop VMs from one place to another, right? Second thing it can do is it can manage data operations. It can basically patch servers. So you can do a bunch of things around lifecycle of the servers. It can manage lifecycle of the networking. It can do a bunch of things that Kubernetes may find hard to do with VMs, right? So automation can do that. So people are using that, and that's actually very interesting for me. The other thing that people are doing is also they're trying to do the as a code thing with automation, right? Everything is a code, right? I'm going to just have an inventory file, a rules engine, and then I'm going to just run everything based on this inventory against this inventory with these rules in mind. How am I going to be able to do that across storage, networking, everything, right? The other great use cases that have blown my mind are around edge use cases, right? I'll give you a great example of somebody used automation for, I won't name it, some large retail presence. They have a challenge with their Wi-Fi, right? So the problem with the Wi-Fi is the Wi-Fi goes down, and they have employees in the retail location that don't know how to reset anything. So what happens? They scan a QR code, Scanning the QR code triggers something in the internet that basically allows them to power cycle their entire network equipment
That's
on site.
cool.
I was like, wow, because everybody can scan a QR code now. Even my kids can do that.
I love that. And to me, it's those interactions that are very simple but can do a lot in the background that are so powerful. Because my belief is things shouldn't be complex. If they're complex, we're doing things wrong. And there's a certain amount of complexity that comes with certain things. But even when you go back to, you mentioned Kubernetes, I always come to the conclusion that a lot of CIOs or CTOs say we need to be cloud native, but why? What's the needs of your application? What's the needs of, what are you trying to do? Do you need to be more scalable? Do you need to be more redundant? And all of these things. But what happens is that we make things overly complex because we might not need those things. And if you bring those things, then it becomes more complex. And one of the things that you mentioned, which I think about a lot lately, is that people are trying to move away from complexity. When you look at even the cloud native scene right now, platform engineering is the big thing. I just came from KubeCon. Everything was platform engineering and AI. And the reason that is that people are looking to make things simpler. It's become too complex, and we don't want to do that just to put an application up there. So, automation is one of the keys to doing a lot of these things in those areas.
Yeah, it is the primary pillar for making things simpler, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, the second thing is it frees you up time to solve the other complexity that automation can't solve. And automation is not going to solve your complex architecture. But if you automate all your manual tasks, you have time to go figure out how to simplify your architecture.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right? So
absolutely.
two-pronged approach to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I would assume, and again, I haven't looked at the solution, full disclosure, in a while, but I would assume there's templates and things like that to get people started, and to for standard things to kind of get you going.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have certified collections, we have validated collections, we have a lot of ISV content there. We have getting started guides, right? Another thing that we're doing, since you're wearing the Red Hat developer hat,
I love
one
this
of
app.
one of the things we're doing is, we are actually integrating Ansible with Red Hat Developer Hub, which is based on Backstage, which probably you heard about KubeCon as
Sure.
well, right? So that's actually going to give you golden path templates on how to automate different things. Right? How do I get started on automating my network? How do I get started on automating my secure supply chain? How do I get automated on my storage devices? Right? What should I do to get started with Edge? How do I configure my ITSM solution? How do I connect to my uh, observability platform? So those are other things that we are actually working on. So our goal is automation on its own will remove complexity. That's the goal of automation. Our goal is to make automation more accessible, more simpler. We've done that over the last 10 years. And I think now we're infusing AI, and we're also allowing customers to take advantage of AI that other people are bringing in to propel them into the AI revolution.
I think that's great. So I do a thing on this show that I call buzzworthy or buzzworthless, where I give you a couple terms, and you can tell me whether they're buzzworthy and buzzworthless. And I'll do it on areas that obviously you play in. So I'm going to give you two terms. I think I'm just thinking off the bat here, and you could just describe whether they're buzzworthy, meaning that they should be out there, or buzzworthless, maybe they've kind of lost their sheen a little bit. And I'll go orchestra. Yeah.
You're going to get me into trouble, I think.
That's okay. I get everybody in trouble. Orchestration. I'll go first. Yeah.
Buzzworthy.
Okay.
Because automation is orchestrating things all the time, so I can't dismiss that.
Okay. And what about automation then? So is that buzzworthy or buzzworthless?
Very, very buzzworthy.
You know what? I'll give you one more. How about AI? Is it buzzworthy or buzzworthless?
Without automation, it is buzzworthy.
I love it. So, okay, we only have a couple minutes left. What do you want to leave people with, to think about?
I think the first thing is, right, we've spoken about a whole lot of things, right? Main thing is, make sure that everybody has a mission critical mindset for automation, right? It's no longer a nice to have. It is truly essential. There's a lot of advances that have happened with automation platforms, so look at them more holistically. Uh, and the third one is, it is a foundation for AI adoption. Without automation, AI adoption is going to be harder. It's going to be more challenging, and the AI revolution is here to stay, right? I think, as much as we joked about it, it is really, really the most important key paradigm shift or a revolution shift that's happening in our lifetimes. And if you want to catch hold of that, don't forget the foundation, because AI cannot solve broken manual processes, nor can it solve technical debt.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. This has been really, really enlightening, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Michael. We'll get you an Ansible hat next time. Okay.
All right, sounds good.